everybody. Welcome to Project Opportunity's first ever business pitch competition, January 21st, 2021. We are so excited to have everybody with us. I'd like to welcome all of our judges, Ms. Carlene Cassidy, Radcliffe Foundation. Through the Radcliffe Foundation, as many of you know, this actual business pitch competition is possible. Thank you. Thank you for participating. Thank you for believing in us, and thank you for being a judge. We have Ms. Wynn Briscoe. She is from the SBDC and a small business. I believe I read your bio. You've got experience as a small business owner as well, and has helped thousands of small businesses. We have Ms. Candace Pruitt, who is also from the SBDC and owns her own small photography business. Started working with a restaurant as a startup business. So she's got lots of experience in helping entrepreneurs as well. Thank you, Ms. Candace. We have Ms. Tiffany Davis from Washington Accounting Services. She is also a project opportunity facilitator. So she's met many of you. A small business expert, she supports multiple small business programs, including business pitches and facilitating workshops and teaching courses. Tim, I am sorry, you're going to have to introduce yourself a little bit. The background I was able to grab from your bio was very short. Would you like to say hello?
Sure. My name is Tim Wilson. I work now at Tedco. I have a finance background. I'm on a venture capital team, so we do everything from very early stage pre-seed investments to Series A. Got some corporate innovation in my background and valuation for consulting side. So finance oriented and now actively investing. So it's great to be here and should be fun.
Wonderful. Nice of you to join us. We are so grateful to have you here. And I noticed that we have a mutual contact, Mike Leffer.
Yep. Good guy. I didn't notice that, but yep, we'll be connecting early next week. So I'll tell him you said hi.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Down here, we also have Jason Tagler, who is the creator of Pitch Creator, and he is joining us today just to see how your guys' pitch goes. And then I heard earlier that he was getting a little bit of feedback on what you guys thought of the Pitch Creator. Jason, did you want to say hello?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. As you know, Pitch Creator's mission is to create jobs by helping entrepreneurs learn how to communicate with investors. So this is exciting. I might not be able to stay the whole time, but I'm going to, try to listen in. Unfortunately, I went to get a cup of coffee when some folks were talking about their experiences, but I did catch the tail end of that. And I was very happy to hear. I always love to get feedback. It's, a volunteer social impact organization. So our fuel is the positive feedback we get from the entrepreneurs. And I was very happy to hear that you guys had a good experience. So thank you. And thanks for having me.
Just a quick message to the participants, since Jason missed that, I would urge and encourage all of you to go find him on LinkedIn and maybe share a little of that love that you put out in our little group dialogue. As Jason said, when it's a passion project, he doesn't get paid for a Pitch Creator. He has donated his resources and his time. So put a little fuel in his tank and let him know what you think. And if you have constructive suggestions for how it could be improved, send him a private message. If you have lots of praise, put it out there to the universe.
Carlene, thank you. We need to bring you officially on the Pitch Creator team, I think. But also, Brenda, I would say, as we've talked about, Project Opportunity is really a special organization for me. My dad was in the military, did a lot of volunteering with entrepreneurs. So this is a very, just rewarding to be part of what you all are doing here, and happy to be helpful if I can.
Well, we were so excited to get to be able to use your product. And we've definitely learned a lot. And Jason, as you know, we have a follow-up meeting that I will be collecting feedback from everybody via a survey, an anonymous survey. And I will be sharing that with you next Friday. So thank you for spending some time with us. And we'll be looking for feedback from our pitch as well. We have Miss Patricia Newby. She is our subject matter expert and pitch coach extraordinaire joining us today as well. So we'll be collecting feedback from Patricia as well on the Pitch Creator. Thank you so much for joining us. Carlene, I'd like to turn it over to you just for a moment. I know that while we were having technical difficulty, you did welcome everybody, but if you could give kind of your official welcome from the Radcliffe Foundation standpoint, I would really appreciate it.
Sure. Yes. Congratulations, first of all, the fact that all of you took this step and your pitching today is something to celebrate. This takes courage. It takes a lot of commitment. So first, out of the gates, let me just say congratulations to all of you for being here and following your passion and your entrepreneurial venture and your pursuit. Also acknowledge Brenda and Joe for their leadership, and to the judges and the coaches for all of the time that you dedicate to helping aspiring entrepreneurs and small business owners get off the ground. And Jason, I throw you in that category as well. This is a movement, it's an ecosystem, and you all, each and every person on this Zoom today is part of that. The Radcliffe Foundation, we're just a small piece of it. We're building on the legacy that Phil and Carol started, and they believed inherent in everyone was the capacity to succeed, to contribute, to make a way for themselves, create jobs for themselves and others in their communities. And you all represent that. So I'm just excited to be part of this. I'm looking forward to your pitches today. And thank you to Joe and Brenda for coordinating this entire group and all the project opportunity efforts that go into helping veterans and military spouses fulfill their dreams and pursuits in the small business and entrepreneurial space.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I know we only have 2 hours set aside for the pitches. I explained to the participants that I was going to start the timer on my phone and that I would keep my phone open so that they could hear the chimes. I'd like to open it up. Does anybody have any thoughts or questions before we go through this process? Are we ready to start the pitches?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanessa Kadiri, and I am the owner of Cleanliness Services, LLC, a janitorial service provider. We all know there are hazards associated within the cleaning process and dangers from improper handling of hazardous chemicals. Employees were hired to perform specific tasks. Now, because of COVID, they have to clean, so they do it carelessly. They lack training and education in the cleaning industry to pay acute attention to detail. It's wasted manpower for employees to clean, so they become disgruntled. Cleanliness Services is trained and certified to provide electrostatic disinfecting, deep clean sanitizing, and janitorial services to the government, commercial clients, and churches in the Maryland metropolitan area. So what drives us? Economic empowerment, hiring local employees and college students who meet employment criteria. Employee satisfaction, such as training, professional development, and feeling valued. Customer satisfaction, building long-lasting relationships for repeat work, creating a platform for economic growth and development, a work climate for production and productivity. Cleaning is what we do. It's all we do. Our target customers are federal, state, local government, churches, and commercial buildings. We acquire our federal customers through beta.san.gov and FPDS. State and local will be acquired through eMaryland Marketplace, where we track small business reserve and forecast and opportunities. I have been in business the shortest time compared to my listed competitors and have successfully been awarded a government state contract. Our biggest differentiators are socioeconomic status and our GBAC certification from the International Sanitary Supply Association. We make money by responding to government solicitations or negotiated contract to provide service. We provide services to Perkins, Greater St. John, and Faith Tabernacle acquired through relationship building. Contracts for services are negotiated for a 1-year term with the automatic renewal at the end of the term. We won Garrison Forest through the competitive solicitation process. We will be responding to eligible solicitations on eMaryland Marketplace. We will also use the federal procurement platforms to identify and respond to pre-solicitation notices and RFIs. This strategy should enable us to win small procurements. Also, we will use our website and our established social media platform to advertise and to acquire new customers. Our revenue model is providing recurring services for 1-year contract with an automatic renewal. One-time service payable at completion of service. Based on our revenue model, we service 3 customers weekly. In November 2019, we had our first sale of $600. In 2020, sales grew significantly, and we project 2021 sales to almost double in revenue to $50,000. We presently have 3 recurring contracts totaling $18,200. We're in negotiations with another church. Our goal is to acquire 3 additional churches, generating the same revenue. With retaining the same recurring revenue from 2020, adding 3 churches, responding to posted solicitation on the local and state platform, in 2021, we will earn additional income. We are profitable with positive cash flow. 2019, we obtained necessary certifications to be competitive in the marketplace. We acquired 5 customers in 2020, and in 2021, we have 3 recurring contracts, and we've added 3 part-time employees to payroll. We're requesting $10,000 in funding, $2,500 to be used to enhance training knowledge and business certifications for credibility of the business and to remain innovative and knowledgeable in industry standards. $3,300 for computer equipment to purchase backpack foggers, backpack vacuums, and commercial shampooers. We presently outsource the sanitizing and shampooing. The additional equipment will allow us to bring the service in-house, and my employees will have more work. $3,200 for office equipment to include desktop, printer, copier, fax machine, and workstation. The equipment will enable us to have much needed tools and resources for proper training and functionality. The $1,000 will help enhance the marketing and administrative part of the business. We will showcase our offerings on our website, our trainings, our certifications, and customer testimonials. The company will be relevant and innovative by having a social media presence, which is a key differentiator that will assist with our customer requests and reach. I'd like to take this time to thank Project Opportunity, the Radcliffe Foundation, and Pitch Creator for this time and opportunity to present. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, judges, we will open it up to your questions now.
Hi, Vanessa. You did a great job. I know starting off on the presentations is not an easy thing to do, but you set the bar very high. So congratulations on that. And I do have a question.
Yes,
how has the pandemic affected your ability or the company's performance in a positive, or any complications that have arisen from the pandemic that the company has been able to overcome?
So actually, I hate to say this, but the pandemic has been a great opportunity for my business because, as stated, I only had 1 contract in 2019. It was $600. But in July of 2020, I started marketing the business a little differently, and I was afforded an opportunity because of veteran status to obtain my GBAC certification, which equipped me to do the electrostatic cleaning. And so that propelled my business, where the revenue went from $600 to what I stated in the presentation. So it pretty much, I don't know the percentage, but it went from 6 to 23,000. So it's positively impacted my business. And the biggest part for me was getting that government contract. That was huge for me. I prepared, but I really didn't see it coming. So it really gave me a motivational boost to keep doing what I'm doing.
Do you have a good relationship with your suppliers? I just heard that, sometimes it's challenging to get PPE and cleaning supplies right now.
So far I do. I have a stock of cleaning materials that I've purchased. And when I need it, I always do it in advance. So I've had no problems procuring the equipment that I need to be functional to perform.
Vanessa, are you doing this part-time right now? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm 100% vested in my business. So I do it in the morning from 6 to 8:30, and then I do it in the evening from like 5 to 9, and I also do it on Saturdays. So that's 100% investment of the time that I give to the business. When I'm able to maintain the revenue about where I am right now, then I will be 100% dedicated to the business.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you what it's going to take for you to be able to scale successfully and then go full time.
Yes.
To go back to your marketing strategy, and it sounds like you've been very successful with churches, and I'm curious to know what you'll do different to try and either leverage your current church contracts to lead to more, or how you're going to grow the government side of the business, which seems like that appears anyway to be your future emphasis.
It is, and I will state in all candidness, typically the government is looking for you to have 3 years of past performance before they will award you a contract. I was fortunate because I had a mentor that I worked for 1 year, and so I was able to use that mentorship umbrella to state that, or to show that I had 1 year of past performance in addition to the 2 years that I've had my business. And so the commercial and the churches is my playing field for now until I'm concretely at 3 years. The state government, I've penetrated that space, so it is also my playing field. The federal government, I won't touch until I'm within 3 years because I already know the requirement.
Vanessa, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I ran a cleaning business for 5 years, and a lot of the money is in floor maintenance and upkeep. Do you have any plans to expand to take care of doing floor work in the future?
And so I'm working with a business partner, and I actually just secured a job for stripping and waxing, and I will be doing that. My goal in future is potentially, as I grow and become more mature, it's more so to add supplies, since that's a big demand right now. The state of Maryland has not given me the NIGP codes necessary to do any type of flooring work. And so I have to do it under an umbrella until I can show them that I've had that past performance to increase it into my service offerings.
Okay, but stick with it because there's a lot of money in that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hi, Vanessa. Great job pitching. I do have a few questions for you. In reference to the ask of $10,000, you stated $2,500 for training, $3,800 for equipment, $3,200 for office equipment, and then $1,000 on marketing. And so with each of those areas, with training, what type of training are you referring to in certifications? With the equipment, you did mention that the office equipment would allow your employees to do something in-house. If you could provide a little more detail to how that's going to work. And the other equipment that you're actually looking to get for $3,800, what type of equipment is that, and how is that going to actually further your business? And what are your plans for the $1,000 in marketing? You did mention that, you know, from 19 to 20, and you did some additional marketing with social media. As we know, a lot of the social media platforms in doing that are free. There are some paid subscriptions. So I would like to know exactly what your plans are.
Okay, so the $2,500 is for the GBAC certification. I learned of GBAC when I was given that opportunity that I previously mentioned. And so ISSA is the sanitation industry that is the umbrella for everyone in janitorial. They're huge. Anyone in janitorial will know ISSA and Green. And so those are certifications I'm pursuing to make my business more marketable, to make it innovative, and to make it align with industry standards. However, their training is extremely expensive. So the initial training is for myself, and then they have a train-the-trainer program for employees. I actually have the price breakdown, and the price that I actually quoted for the training is almost aligns, except for a few dollars, with their required training. There was one additional certification that they had that would also help me to be more relevant, but you have to make all the phone calls to get the pricing. And so I gave an estimate of what I believe that pricing within that price category. So that initial training is for myself and for my employees, so that everyone, especially in this era, can know that we are properly certified. I am right now, but my certification does expire this year because I'm not officially a member of ISSA. And, they did us favors as janitorial so that we can be equipped to move our services forward. As far as the 3,300, it's for two backpack foggers, and they cost about I think $7 something each. There's a 360 cleaner, but it is more than 3,300. So, and I'm not at the top of the line, and so I'm trying to make it affordable and amenable for what we do. The backpack vacuum roughly is around the same price. I believe it's maybe $9 something. And the commercial shampooer, that's the deep clean part of it. Price wise, the price that I quoted is actually a little less than those items cost. We outsource it because I don't have that equipment in house. The 3,300 in office equipment is a computer system to set up for my employees. I don't want them to be enrolled in a program and leave it up to them to do the training. And so I do have a home-based office set up. They will have to come in-house and train, and I have to make sure that we're getting the best value for what we're putting out there. And if I can be as bold as to say, not waste anyone's funding. And the 1,000, the marketing, is for revamping my website. I have someone that's doing my website right now. I was quoted a price of $600. Then there's a maintenance of the website, which is going to be monitoring it monthly to add and enhance services. Of course, the social media platforms, to the best of my knowledge, are free, but it's also for the administrative side of it, with helping with the administrative costs of, I did write it down. Okay, so the administrative side of it was $400. And okay, that's more helping me with the QuickBooks piece of managing that business. I actually have payroll that I started this year for the first time. And I have some other services, the setting up for the, automatic payments and things like that. So those are administrative functions that are a little extra that I was requesting.
Okay. And just a few other questions. A lot of your marketing is really targeted to federal, state government, and churches. And I know that you have projections for 2021 and the new contracts that you do want to bring in, and the current 3 one-year contracts that you were able to obtain in 2020 that will fall over into 2021. So playing devil's advocate, if those contracts do not renew, and as we all know, in dealing with the federal government, that can be hit or miss at some point in time. Have you looked at any opportunities into going more into the commercial field, more as in office buildings, retail, widening that commercial aspect and not just, focusing on the churches? Because, my sense is that, if none of this happens and you get the grant and you get all this equipment and you're ready and prepared, if that doesn't happen, what is your pivot plan?
Okay, I totally respect that. I will say I do have a very concrete relationships with the churches. I am a member of the board in those churches, and based on the relationships, that's how I was able to get it. I project getting 3 this year, but I'll be candid. My goal is 10, and I'm in negotiations now with the board of all the boards of the churches. And so I don't foresee that going down. I do see it going up. Nonetheless, with the office buildings, it is in my marketing strategy. I stated that it's also office commercial buildings are my platform. Now, because of COVID, the reach is a little harder. And so my marketing strategy and social media is how I plan to reach those office buildings. Some, foot traffic, you'd be able to go in and present. Even the bank where I go, I let them know what I do. I pass my business cards out. So I'm using my relationships to establish relationships to get commercial buildings. And I'm working with teaming partners as well that have those commercial buildings so I can get some inroads. So the projection, if things don't go well, and we know that's always a factor, my pivoting is adding supplies into my business. So it's not just janitorial, it's janitorial services and supplies. And I've also looked at the fact that in the wintertime, we can add snow removal. In the summertime, we can add some landscaping, some services that complement the janitorial. So I don't seem like I'm a jack of all trades.
Following along with what Tiffany was asking about, have you thought at all about talking to property managers and going that route as sort of a different way to a different customer to target to perhaps sort of multiply your marketing effects?
Right. And I used to be a real estate agent. And so one of the things that I'm looking at even is house cleaning, which I did one during COVID. It was an emergency clean. So with the houses, it's more so building the relationship, because there are those real estate brokers that use the people with whom they have relationship. And so I'm in the relationship building stage of that to eventually expand my bandwidth and have multiple pipelines.
Well, my first question was, if the buildings are closed due to Governor Hogan or a federal mandate upcoming, if they are closed, empty buildings, churches, office buildings, et cetera, what was going to be your plan B? You did mention other streams of income as far as snow removal and landscaping. So that I think is great to always keep in mind, just in case the buildings are empty. I'm not sure how apt they are to sanitize when no one's there. So good idea to keep those additional streams. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vanessa, thank you so very much for your presentation. Next up is Tiffany Daniel.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tiffany Daniel, and I am the president of CTLDM Group, and it was established in 2019. We are a startup. Our problem, or our current market, is targeting our veterans and seniors, because a lot of times our veterans and seniors are stuck on the outside looking in. They don't feel as though they are the average fitness buff that can go and just contend with the fitness environment. And so therefore, a lot of times they're very apprehensive and they'd rather stay at home. So what we plan to do is allow them to be more vibrant and motivated and challenging and setting forth a footstep to get back into the fitness arena. What we've also discovered is since COVID, then we had to go digital with a lot of our plans and ideas. So the digital therapeutic programs have worked for us in a way that we have challenged ourselves with the Circle of Health. And with the Circle of Health, we've allowed our clients to sit down and make a program for addressing their needs specifically, that they need to get them capable of at least taking care of their daily living activities, as far as getting dressed, being able to wash their hands and wash their faces and brushing their teeth, things that they can do independently, because sometimes our disabilities may be invisible, but they do hinder us from doing a lot of our daily activities and meeting our needs to stay independent. The target market, so we've targeted AARP, the Economic Development Centers, and mainly a lot of our veteran service organizations. We decided to specifically go with AARP and the Department of Health because they currently have two bills coming out. The Department of Health recently introduced a bill in September that was called the Maryland Health Equity Resource Bill, and it is going to target a lot of our a lot of our needs as far as inequalities. It's going to meet and look for the inequalities that are in our communities that we are challenged with. And AARP recently wrote a proposal. So they have a proposal out that's still in draft form called the Meeting the Behavioral Health Challenges of the Elder Boom. So we look forward to adding the senior citizens to our current veteran population. A lot of our competitors within a 5-mile radius are big chains. So our competitors are like LA Fitness, Planet Fitness, and even Gold's Gym. And we've even included personal trainers. So with those fitness elements, as I said in the beginning, our current market does not always feel comfortable entering these arenas, or sometimes the cost may be a little bit too much for the things that they are able to participate in. So we've added on personal trainers and coaches moving into the future to be able to sit down one-on-one and work with them to build them back up to the capabilities that they would need to be able to go back into these larger market fitness facilities and gyms. We also offer small group classes, and a lot of our classes are currently online. So therefore, we have been able to meet or match our competitors. Going futuristic, we do plan to have a space post-COVID, and then we can also add on the memberships. Our current sales market is, as I said, looking at veterans right now, looking to, in the near future, add on to for our senior citizens. And then with the Circle of Health, we also want to target the aspect of the psychoneural immunology, which is currently just looking at the things that they cannot do, looking at the diseases that may be stopping them from doing the things that they cannot currently do, and putting those things together to help them with their pain management as well, to allow them to have more activities and more movement, so therefore they can live a more well-balanced life. So our 3 pillars right now for our personal wellness, our fitness, one I've already mentioned with the online classes. We currently give meditation and yoga and small group classes online. We wish to add on to that scope webinars and seminars. With the webinars, we currently do them, but not as much as we plan to do post-COVID. And with the wellness, as we go into a space, we'll be able to have the health coaches with the one-on-one coaching and the consultations. So that's our 3 pillars, and they're also within our milestone. So we just established in 2019. So therefore, for 2019, we only did training, certifications, and getting ourselves up to par. This year meaning last year, 2020, we actually found 2 sponsors. And with the sponsors, we were able to go into a lot of facilities and offer our classes for free because the sponsors took care of a lot of our overhead. Then after that, we also went into senior centers and a lot of our veteran service organization centers. So we didn't have to pay an upfront cost for renting the space. As long as we were servicing their element or their environment, then again, our sponsors took care of the overhead for us. So we are currently asking for $10,000, and that means, let me flip my slide to get to the numbers. So within sales and marketing, we would be asking for $1,645. Within the technology development and equipment, we would be asking for $3,819. And the biggest scope would be going to our growth and initiatives, and that would be an ask for $4,242.
I will open it up to the judges for any questions you might have.
Yeah, I'll go first. Thank you very much for the presentation, as always. So we did get cut off there, but I am curious, we saw the big jump, I think almost 115 grand, many hundreds of % for this coming year. So I'm sure you were going to tell us, but why don't you take a second and tell us why you're able to make that big leap?
All right. So when I was going to go to my milestone, so let me flip my chart to my milestone. So what we plan to do is right now we're currently being paid by some of our sponsors. So with the sponsors paying us, we're able to offer our services without a cost. That's correct. As we move forward into our space, we would train more coaches and be able to offer our services for a fee, or memberships, I should say. So with those memberships, we would ask for annual memberships, and some of the courses would be month to month. But that would allow us to do both. We would be able to teach the classes and service our clients in-house, but also continue to go out-house as we were doing prior to COVID. So we still taught classes in senior citizen centers, as well as some of our veteran service organizations, as well as doing workshops and webinars. So that's why so we would be able to do both at that time.
With COVID potentially impacting businesses for the next 2 to 3 years, what do you foresee being the streams of income to sustain your business to get to those milestones without having a building and without having 100% sponsorship compensating some of those services? Is there another option for funding or income streams?
Yes, there is. So we would increase our webinars. We wouldn't go into the seminars, but we would increase the webinars. There is a need as people are becoming more and more depressed, they're shut in. So the online courses we would utilize through my request for automation. We would utilize ClickFunnels and things like that to start charging for some of the courses that we're currently doing for free with the sponsors. So we would have to use both. We've also received another request from another sponsor. So we're really looking forward to being able to be our affiliations, to being able to grow our affiliations.
Hi, Tiffany. I also had the chance to review the business plans prior to the pitches. And I found it interesting you chose your business to be a nonprofit. I was just curious, what made you decide to register your business as a nonprofit, and is there a for-profit arm to your business?
The nonprofit is mainly giving back. With a lot of our sponsors, they are nonprofits and they currently get the grants, and that's how they're able to pay us. So as long as they're getting the grants and we increase our participation when we go out into these senior centers, then we really don't have to turn into a for-profit if they are allowing us to teach enough classes in this area where we can keep our lights on. Right now, we don't have a building, so we were looking at a space, but we don't wish to obtain a full building no time soon. The brick and mortar, we've done that before, so we don't wish to do that again anytime soon. So we chose the non-for-profit because it's for veterans and seniors, and that's more of a passion.
I'm just curious to know, there are some rules and stipulations with being a nonprofit, and sometimes it'll give your company a larger ability to charge for events outside of those sponsorships. So I'm just hinting, maybe that's something as you grow that you may want to do, because I don't believe you can charge for memberships being a nonprofit, whereas a benefit corporation under a for-profit, you still could uphold your mission to serve the communities and the veterans.
Well, thank you for that pointer. I was really looking at our caps for our tax needs. Yeah, and so I really was cognizant of that to say, as I was making my proposal or my business plan, saying I cannot go over that cap. I cannot go over that cap for that 990. So yes, I have looked at that, and it's not for right now with the nonprofit. I understand we could not plan to be billionaires off of that model. Yes, thank you.
Excellent job with your research. I appreciate you referencing the legislation that's pending. And with that health equity bill, have they identified specific services that they're looking for? Because it's my understanding that part of this includes nutrition. So it's behavior changes, it's the mental health aspect, as well as physical wellness. And I didn't see that you had the one-on-one coaching, but it wasn't really clear to me that it was going to address nutrition and other behavior changes that contribute to wellness. I'm just curious to know how that legislation, if you're going to meet that need and leverage that for business opportunities, how will that cause your business to expand its services?
Well, yes, so they do. So with the yoga, that meets the requirement for our mindful resilience as well as our mental health aspect. I'm also an integrative nutritionist certified. So the nutritional piece would come within our consultations as far as the weights, the monthly weigh-ins, and the meal planning and nutritional base as well. And I'm trying to remember what else you asked me, but I think within that bill, a lot of it was covered already, and that's part of our ask for our training and our recertifications, and I would need to train other people so that it wouldn't all fall on me.
Thank you. You did address that very well, and if I might suggest that as you move forward with your proposals, you highlight your experience, particularly your nutrition experience, and consider potentially partnering also with Department of Aging as they do the Meals on Wheels, and they look at also how they're feeding seniors. So in addition to AARP, your local Department of Aging might be an opportunity as well.
I thought I had them on there with our target customers, but yes, thank you. Thank you. All right.
Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
Hello, Tiffany. Fine, and you?
Good. So, of course, I'm asking for the numbers, and I know that you quickly ran past them. So the ask of 10,000, and you did say that was for sales and marketing, tech development, and it's also growth initiatives that you're looking to do. So I want to kind of know, what are your what are you really trying to do in those key areas? And if you could give those amounts again for me.
Okay. So it does not round up to 10,000 evenly. It's in the 9,800 and something. So I rounded up. But for the networking, sales and marketing, that was $1,645. And that's for our networking and broadcast. And that's mainly for our annual and monthly fees, because we already do, or currently with our seminars, we do a health talk show. So that would keep our fees going for at least the next year, well, the rest of for next year. Then the next one was $3,819, and that is for us to be able to purchase 2 laptops. Our lighting and tripods, as you see, my lighting and my personal laptop aren't cutting it. So we need 2, because I end up normally using 2 laptops with cameras and lighting when I go out, and whether I have to give a class or whether I'm doing a webinar, then that would allow us to be able to stage the room properly. Even with COVID, we've been able to enter some spaces, and they will allow me to set up for our webinars. Even during COVID, as long as we keep the personnel limited to whatever the county cost is, or the count, excuse me. So that would give us the adequate lighting kits and the tripods and everything that we need for those. And so we can look more professional in what we're doing when we're doing it. Then the biggest cost was the $4,242. And that was for our recertifications, our liability insurance as we're going into the different spaces. And the biggest chunk was for training. And the biggest part is for voice training. If I'm going to be doing webinars and recording classes, then I don't want everybody to hear me while I'm giving the class. So I've invested in, or would like to invest in, the voice training so that I can record the classes and then I can give them out afterwards. And that may be another stream of income possibility also.
All right, Ms. Kristen, you are up.
Hello, my name is Kristen Earp. I am a leadership coach and trainer. I work with women leaders in growing their power and presence. Women struggle with stepping into their power and presence as leaders. They're often torn between work-life responsibilities that have them feeling guilty they're not doing more and worried they're not doing enough. They either lack the clarity of what their unique leadership style is or the confidence to step into it. This can have women leaders feeling unsatisfied, unaligned, and exhausted, ultimately ineffective. I work with women leaders to develop alignment of their business, body, and soul. Using emotional intelligence as a foundation, they examine their current leadership impact, increase understanding of what is important to them, and develop that stronger sense of identity. In this collaborative partnership, women take meaningful action as effective leaders in both their professional and personal lives while creating the balance they desire, as well as becoming a powerful and positive influence on healthier work environments. My target market is both emerging and experienced women leaders, and their challenges are slightly different for each group. With emerging women leaders, I find they have the education but not the experience yet. Thus, they're looking to build that credibility. They're also transitioning from doing to leading, and they may be sacrificing their home lives in order to prove themselves at work. For experienced women leaders, I find that they lack the confidence or the trust in their own voice or leading from their authentic style. They're learning to support their teams not by doing all the work, but by delegation and empowerment. And they are also looking for the time and energy to consider their own needs and their family needs, putting it back into the equation. What sets me apart from my local competitors is my affordable rates, my education and certification from the Coactive Training Institute, and a focus on emotional intelligence. Not to mention that I myself am a woman leader. I have coached in various industries that you see here on this slide with leaders at all stages of their career journey. I use social media to make my presence known, as well as network both locally and nationally. I offer a complimentary chemistry coaching session, various training workshops, and a newsletter to my email list. My revenue model is simple. 73% of it is through third-party companies where I offer coaching and they pay me the month following services. The rest is direct contractual work where I collect payment upfront. Over the next year, I'm working to flip this model so that most of my revenue is coming from direct contractual work. As you can see, I have demonstrated a track record of growth. In late of 2019, I took my coaching side gig business and made it my main business. And in 2020, with the help of third-party companies, I made 5 times more what I did than the year before. In this upcoming year, with my focus on direct contractual work, I'm looking at doubling that amount. Here is a snapshot of the last 3 years of my business and what is to come. And here's what I think is important to highlight. I credentialed as a coach back in 2019. I became an LLC at the end of 2020, and I have an ambitious start to 2021. I am looking to coach in organizations to increase emotionally intelligent leaders, thus increasing career success, workplace happiness, and ultimately organizational effectiveness and sustainability. I am requesting $6,000 to support my business vision. I am looking to get certified in this very well-known 360 assessment tool that considers leaders' competencies, their assumptions, and their personality types, allowing leaders and the organization to see where ineffectiveness is actually costing them. I'm looking to work with 2 military spouse companies who also happen to be women-owned on my marketing efforts. I want to get a website developer who will help me create a clear, simple, user-friendly website to integrate my payment method as well. I'm also looking to work with a brand specialist to create a business logo. I believe these efforts will help to show the maturity of my business and the credibility that I need to work with organizations. I want to thank you for your time today, and I hope you see the importance of investing in me so that I can support women leaders to invest in themselves.
All right, can we open it up for questions, please?
I don't always like to be the one to jump in, but I have a couple of questions based on your pitch today. And it's interesting, I'll say the corporate clients that you have, since it's companies that are actually paying. How many of those, once you're done with the coaching that the company is paying for, how many of those are you converting to one-on-one clients? And when you do that, do you honor the pricing model that you used for the company for those individuals that continue with you? The other question I had is, you mentioned free resources as one of your goals in your plan, that you want to start posting daily. I'm just curious to know what the approaching content is. And even though it says free, are you getting something from them for that download? How are you using that free content to grow your business?
These are all great questions. And if I misled, I am not currently working in organizations yet. A lot of those that were up there are where my clients do work. And through third-party companies, they have the contracts with the organizations, and I'm just offering the coaching services. So I am looking to coach in organizations. I just haven't made that jump yet. That's what I'm doing this year. Does that answer the question, or is... Okay. And then for content, I am posting out there. I call them career happiness tips, career success tips. I'm basically dropping in little emotional intelligence information or articles. And most of the time, if I can get engagement, I will talk to the people who are engaging, invite them to join my email list, and offer a free coaching session to see what we can do to support their needs.
Hi, Kristen. I have one quick question too. You mentioned the leadership profile certification in your presentation. I would just like you to expand a little bit more on that. What value will it bring to your company? So will it expand your capability? Is this like an add-on value that you can offer to your clients? Do they market your business for you on their platform once you get the certification? If you just don't mind explaining that a bit more.
No, definitely. So the certification, I have been doing a lot of investigation for different certifications. I've looked at DISC, I've looked at Strength Finders, I've been looking up and down and all around. And in my coaching circle, it seems that the leadership one is kind of 3 assessments all in one. As I said, it does personality, which is what MBTI does. It does assumptions, it does competencies. And so it really takes a lot. It's very comprehensive. I think what I like about it is that it shows where you're being creative and where you're being reactive as a leader. And it really has a yin and yang to it. So if you're being more reactive, you're being less creative, and it shows you the behaviors. It's just really easy to get, and it provides that self-awareness to the leaders and the organizations. It is more pricey. So this is one that I think I want to use in going forth with organizations and the ones that want to invest in like their leaders really getting better.
Hi, I'll go. I have one. So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit more about how your current customers, those you've been working with, have been responding to it. Positive feedback, where's the biggest impact? What are they hoping to use more going forward, use less? Do you have a lot of insight there on, from where you started to where you are now, where you may reposition and iterate?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the beginning part of that? Like, was that organizations or particular leaders that?
Those who you're working with now, because you said it's individuals, right? You're not actually working with corporations yet. So all I'm really asking is, sorry, I did get an alert that said my connection's unstable. So maybe it's hard to hear me right now. So I apologize, but I can put it in chat. Let me know if that's clear.
Well, I think I get what you're saying. And this is where in one of my milestones, I didn't actually speak to it, but it's there, is I'm going to be developing a signature offer, because the more I've worked with leaders, and I've worked with so many now with the opportunity of working with third party, is I'm starting to see that there's a pattern in which that it builds in their development. And honestly, it really relates to emotional intelligence. The self-awareness and self-management comes first, and then moving into more advanced skill sets. And so I see that as they become more aware, they start coaching themselves. And that's really fun to watch, because they start to see where they're hindering themselves or where they could have done it a little differently. And then as they take that and they go forward with the relationship management, which is the empathy part, they can start to really make those relationships more positive and effective.
I've got one follow-up. Let me know if you can't hear me again. I apologize. So the super long term, right? If you're really projecting out best case scenario where you'd love to take it, is this something you think you'd like to sell to, get in with major corporations at the HR level so that it can, it's a service that companies can provide to all of their employees? Or do you think it would remain more specialized, maybe put more of it into coursework so it can just be more of a SaaS model? just curious, you know, have you thought about that kind of stuff? What's your current vision?
Yeah, I love it. I am a trainer and coach. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to split the two. When I spend more in one, I get like, oh, where's the other? So with organizations, what I'm really looking at, and I actually have thought about this, is giving them three options: either 2 training sessions at the small end where we can train on emotional intelligent type things to help their leaders become better. A level up from that would be 2 trainings and some group coaching to really support the learning. And then what I would love to do, which is like the mecca of it all, would be to do all of that plus them picking 5 to 10 leaders that they really want to invest in and do the one-on-one coaching. So anywhere from 6 months to a year. And, you know, honestly, if I could get a few organizations on board with something like that, I really see that as just, that would make me so happy.
So hi, Kristen, how are you?
Good.
Just a quick question. Your ask was for 6,000, and the majority of it is for certifications. And you did kind of explain, you know, what those certifications would do and how they would really help you. But a lot of, you know, what it is that you do in being a coach is really focused a lot on, you know, sales, marketing, getting your name out there, customer testimonials, things of that nature. So I would like to hear more about your plan to really do sales and marketing. You know, it'd be great to have this certification, but you spend all this money on it. What are you going to do?
No, that's a fair question. And I can even feel that my emerging self knows I need to just step it up, which is what I'm going to do. And I've already been challenged by several people to reach out to 25 people that I know that are in organizations or have brothers, sisters, spouses somewhere that will let me come in and do some piloting. And what I want to do is what you're saying, is being more active and not just relying on third-party companies to provide. So I'm looking at doing some lunch and learns with women leaders. My background is in software, so maybe women in tech. And really supporting them in a smaller effort so they could get a taste of me in that way and really show that I'm supporting them, and then see where that goes from there. And that's kind of my angle in, is what I'm thinking.
Kristen, down the road for your long-term goal, you're going to have to expand away from female leaders and just to leaders in order to get in the organizations you want to go. So when you put together your marketing, your promotional for your 2, 3, 4-year plan, remember that, okay?
Yes, it's a fair point. And even as from the beginning of this, I realized that it's more that I am putting the feminine energy back into the workplace. I think that my focus with women right now is this need to do it in a direct way, which is a more masculine energy. And we need both. We need both. And I think as we're even going forward in this world, we're seeing we need both. And so it's the feminine energy that is with the empathy and the compassion to make the relationships more effective.
Joe, I'm going to just counter that by saying one of the things that I would recommend, Kristen, is that you modify your visual image of your target market to be more inclusive. And I think that there's a big movement right now towards women empowerment, and there is still such a lack of representation of women in executive suites across the country for big organizations. So if you have to start somewhere and build, I would say people who have been marginalized and not provided maybe the same access to that opportunity. And yesterday's evidence that there is extraordinary excitement around really wanting to support women, and particularly brown and Black women. And I would say go for that and sell that to banks and big companies that lack representation in that executive suite, and for their board members as well. And Joe, not to be disrespectful, I think that at some point in time to include men in that equation too. But if your comfort zone is that female energy, leverage that. I saw a great picture though of a guy who said this is what a feminist looked like, and it was a guy. And I've actually had two gentlemen that I worked for early in my career who I would consider to be total feminists. They just saw women. Joe, you're a feminist. You know, you're what a feminist looks like, honestly. So that I don't want that to be perceived as a negative thing. That feminist energy is a good thing.
I don't disagree with that. I just know that when you get into the HR arena, you have to be careful how you go into market. That's all.
And I will say to that point, when I put my stamp on women leaders, I am getting more and more men leaders. And so I keep asking them like why, and they say because they want to understand the woman perspective better. So.
Yeah, funny. I used to teach a women in business class at the community college, and I always had a couple of guys sign up for the class. And one actually admitted it was because he increased his odds of finding the love of his life. But some were really genuine managers who said, I really want to be a better manager and leader for the women that work with me. So I think that's tremendous too.
Hey, Kristen, while we're waiting, I have a question. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask questions, but how do you find your clients now? Do you use like Facebook ads or word of mouth?
So being a military spouse, I'm a part of several different military Facebook groups, and I've collaborated with them to be a career coach, and I drop in every now and then and just offer. And then when they feel that there's a need, they say, why don't you book a session with Kristen? That's been pretty effective. But it's also in the career searching space, and I want to be more in the development. And so I'm now, even today, thinking about what website or what Facebook groups and groups could I offer my services for free and support that, you know, may help me down the line.
All right, Adrian, we're ready for you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. First to Project Opportunity family, Radcliffe Foundation, all of the judges, and my awesome, stellar coach, Ms. Brenda. I really appreciate this amazing opportunity. So I am the CEO of Talent and Technical Solutions, and our goal is to address one of like America's and throughout the globe #1 priority, and it is about talent. So in 2017, a study was done by a company, CPA, and they identified that $1.5 million is spent by small businesses, primarily in the HR world. That would mean on average about 13 hours a week. HR representatives spend time trying to understand talent, which is separate and distinct from their current positions. And so that's a missed opportunity, and the bottom line is it affects profit. So the problem pretty much stems from the cost of understanding what the current and future requirements are, their corresponding skills, the inability of companies to do skill gap analysis in lieu of just staffing analysis that warrants just hiring when hiring may not necessarily be the needed solution, and understanding the portfolio of talent. And when I mean talent, I mean individuals start companies and they bring a portfolio of experience from previous positions, but there's no transparency in understanding what those knowledge, skills, and abilities are, and the abilities for companies to be able to actually leverage the expertise holistically within their organizations. What talent management priorities are offered by TTSC is we have a holistic, comprehensive view of understanding your products, your people, your positions, your gaps, your success planning opportunities, your career management that result in targeted training and developing opportunities. And we offer that, unlike our competitors, it's an end-to-end holistic approach that has dashboards and drill downs and metrics and things of that nature that enable organizational managers to send demand signals to HR representatives and lead in a much more fact-based manner from a targeted and recruiting and the decision-making perspective. So our target is, we recognize there are a plethora of new startup companies and mid-sized companies, startup companies that aren't necessarily certain how to make those best hiring decisions, where talent acquisition is extremely important. And so we want to be able to offer our services so that they start off and have that foundation that allows them to be successful. The other opportunity we see is with mergers. There are a number of companies that are in that merging capability or that merging space, and they're trying to understand how to take two distinct companies and leverage the talent in the most appropriate manner to fully understand the skills and the products and increase the overall production. You can see there, this is a huge market, from $5.19 billion in 2000 18, projected in 2026 to be an $11 billion organization. Here we have our competitive analysis. We've been doing environmental scanning for many years, and you can see here these companies bring bits and pieces to the table. Also here from a market entry, listed there are our current customers. We work with the Potomac River Group. We are close in alignment with potential customers. When I say alignment, I mean proposals have been submitted for Cherokee Nation, and they do everything from casinos to government contracting. We also are working with the diversity company to get some of the funds set aside last summer. And I'll just be honest, with some of the Black Lives Matter movement, there are some opportunities for us to work with GM, Facebook, Tesla, and CI International. Long-term, government is definitely a focus area, recognizing you have to have past performance there. How do we market? Social media, blogs, YouTube videos, video vignettes. I also authored a book, and we are definitely speaking there. So our revenue model is predominantly, most will come from our monthly invoices from our customers, 10% from our software resale. From a capital perspective, we want to definitely hire and staff up to support our work demands. And you'll see there that equates to about $1 million long term. And we do anticipate that we'll have some profit margin via these opportunities to do these pitches. So what does success look like for us? It's at all levels: individual, management, organizational. It's measurable, it's impactful, it impacts the people, the production, and the performance of organizations. Our milestone is very new, so no profit margin yet, but we're looking forward to that 400K in 2021 and then 2 million in 2022. And lastly, the bottom line is, in today's market, we recognize we have several and get America back to work again.
Adrienne, a lot of information in a short period of time. Well done. Very concise. Can you unpack the actual sales model? How are you truly making money? I know you said 90% of your revenue is going to come from invoices. Right. I'm still not really clear on how you're making money.
Okay. So there is a huge platform to do resale, right? A lot of companies want to use commercial off-the-shelf products, and we would serve as that integrator for that. So that's like that primary market. We're working with an Australian company, Skillbase, and so what we would do is buy those services, and then of course we would have to then leverage a little bit of a tag on for our labor and consulting services when we go into companies. So that's our primary form of revenue. The other thing that's really cool is we do our consulting services, but we are also building our version of the commercial off-the-shelf kind of product. One, it's important because all of the tools that we found lack something. There's a module or something they're missing. And so we augment that. Like, for example, we build the resume portal if that's something your company offers. We build the unique career roadmaps to your technical disciplines. We focus on the leadership and the training that you want us to do. So that's that customizable piece we offer, but we do also, because it's a huge push of commercial off the shelf, it's easier to maintain and sustain, we do want to offer that. But certain companies, for example, will only deal with certain agencies and other companies. So we're that integrating organization for that business.
Hi, Adrienne. I was able to read your business plan as well prior to the pitches, and I had a quick question regarding your team. It sounds like you have a very skilled team. I was just curious to know a little bit about more of their roles and if there is a formal bylaws in place for your organization, just with the multiple owners it looked like.
Yeah, so I am the CEO. I have two amazing partners. I have a CCO and then I have a CIO. So my IT guru partner is 24% and then 24%. And then of course the rest is me as a CEO. We do have a legally binding document that our attorneys drafted that talks about our shares, our compensation, what happens if someone leaves. And so that's all codified in a formal agreement. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And I had one quick follow-up. Is this business, do you have anything in your position at the U.S. Navy? I saw that you are working these two roles that prevent you from soliciting certain government contracts.
No, so when we work for the Navy, we have to disclose. So I had to disclose actually just last week my TTSC role. And the only stipulation is I cannot do work, well, I'll back up 1 second. My role doesn't lend it. What I do for the Navy, I don't necessarily do for TTSC. So that's the first conflict you can't have. So I can't perform, I can't do talent for the Navy and then do it on my own. So I no longer am in that position. So that was a good thing to move forward, because I knew I wanted to do my own thing. So I had to get out of that role and serving in that capacity. And the other thing is I cannot work with companies that I normally would work with. So I'm not working with the Boeings. I'm not working with Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, those companies. I'm focusing on those smaller startup companies and those mid-sized merging companies. Like Aerotech doesn't do business with Navier where I work, they do business with NavC. So I can work with Aerotech in that subprime relationships, but I can't work with them on behalf of like a Navy role, because I don't. So that's the fine line. I spent a lot of time with my ethics lawyer. Particularly because I'm marketing this socially, right? You know, I'm on social media. We do a lot of public speaking. We do podcasts. We interview for blogs. So and my 3-star admirals are my friends on LinkedIn, where I'm socializing TTSC. But I make no mistake where my passion lies, and that's known through the Naval Aviation Fabric and Enterprise, because I did this work for them for over 10 years.
So in looking at I forget exactly what terms you used, for like the pipeline, you're a certain part of the way, you know, you've got a certain probability on some of these contracts, and then further down, can you put some numbers on that? Where are you now in revenue? I think 250K worth of contracts I saw are, you know, have like a pretty good chance of closing. So can you just give some more detail around all that?
Absolutely, happy to do so. So the fisheries, so the Potomac River fisheries, that's 215K. And that's doing a lot of analytics, changing they have like archaic Excel spreadsheets. So we're putting that in like Access database and making that a little bit more modern for decision making. So that's definitely pending. We've gotten a little bit of money from them, but they're waiting for a grant. And we have 3 other 250K proposal submits. I'm very comfortable with Cherokee Nation, work very closely with them. And I know they're starting up a local office and they have nothing, right? You know, so we're helping them build that. So I know with Cherokee Nation, we're partnering with Epsilon. They're on the West Coast to do some prime sub work, and that's about 250-ish, okay? And then also the work we're doing with Aerotech. Aerotech purchased Easy, EASI, you might be familiar with that. And so we're looking at building career roadmaps. So I'm feeling really good about, well, I know the 215K is underway, and the other 3 that are roughly about 250K. So that would get me to at least this calendar year, our calendar year, would be the $1 million. Then that would allow me to bring on those additional resources, because that's the thing. It's like the chicken or the egg, right? The timing of when we bring on people to do the work and then getting the work. So we've been doing a lot of marketing, identifying those potential resources in a contingency manner, so that when those opportunities roll forward, we would then be able to bring those individuals on.
Okay, thank you. And then so one follow-up. The revenue model breakdown, it looked like 10% software reselling, 90% services. So is there going to be any recurring revenue with your core services, or is that all explicit engagements?
No, it's actually, we come in and we do the training and the consulting. We actually work with the local leaders. We perform organizational assessments, and we continue to do them, right? So we measure your performance. And I think the beauty of our offer is we offer this feedback model where we get to come back because we're that confident that what we deliver for you will work. And that feedback model really is an upselling opportunity for us, because we do an assessment of where you are and then how you can still continue to improve. So that's where we see that recurring business opportunity coming forward. And some of those manners. So, and where we subcontract, those are based in a couple of year option contract vehicles.
Gotcha. So there is still recurring, but it's just services based outside the software.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Right. But we're really excited about the software.
Okay, just trying to understand.
Yeah, we're really excited about that because there's so much software out there, but then you just have to focus on getting the license. Like that's what we would have to do with Skillsbase, the Australian company that we're working with, is negotiating those terms and conditions to be able to offer that to our customers.
Hi, Adrienne. How are you?
Hi, Miss Tiffany. How are you?
I'm good. So I, of course, would like for you to break down the money of it all. I would love to know, what is it exactly, you're asking, how is that breakdown, and how are you going to use that to further your business?
So our ask is 10K. And it first starts off with the strategic partnership. So we know we need the licenses to do business. Our system alone, it's Oracle and Java. It's Oracle in the back end, Java in the front end. And so we know we have to get licenses to build our products off of those platforms. There's also a lot of PII information. So we're also looking to migrate into server ownerships, even with cloud migration opportunities. The other thing we see ourselves from a certification and development of our employees, because we do not only want to invest in IT solutions, but we also want to ensure we're growing the talent of our own organization, is some of the certifications that we're referencing. So like the PMP for our program manager, we want that credential. And we also want to have security professionals as we move forward into like some of the cyber technology. The other thing is that digital footprint I mentioned, getting those IT solutions to include the software licenses and those commercial off-the-shelf products that we still have to pay to use those, even in that integration format for our customers. And then the other thing is the acquisition and development. So we know we have to hire, and we're talking about contingency. We're advertising on different social medias and kind of marketing ourselves, but we need to build our own internal like desktop, if you will, for the onboarding process. So when people come on board, our payroll, like we have to be able to front that and have that in place by the time we start bringing our full-time employees on. And right now, my partners and I, we all have other jobs, but we too will be making this transition as we grow. And right now we just have dedicated, like Friday's my dedicated business development days. I talk to my people on the West Coast in the evenings. So it's the use of the money will help with our organic infrastructure, but also the tools we need to be competitive in the market. I just wanted to say, when we think of COVID-19 and you think of where the world is today and the thousands of people that do not have a job, there's got to be some redeployment of that talent, right? Organizations have to tap into that talent in order to get our national economic base up and running again. And TTST wants to be at the front of that.
Okay, so I have opened the breakout room. Those of you who were invited to go into the breakout room should be able to join.
Congratulations, ladies.
Dropbox and I can include pictures and save them, and then kind of put them together as this collage.
I was gonna say, wait till you see my class. We all have access to put our faces on it. I'm trying to get my kids
What we would actually like to do is, before we actually announce the final awards and results, each judge was assigned one of the participants, and they'd like to give you a little feedback on your presentation and everything before we move forward. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that first.
So Vanessa, first, all the judges agreed. Awesome job kicking it off. It is never easy to be the first one to go, and you did a phenomenal job. Your presentation answered in advance a lot of questions that we had, and then when we did have questions, you did a very good job of covering the information. A couple of suggestions that the judges had. First of all, we think that you have a great business line. You're going to leverage this pandemic and continue to gain business with the air cleaning, sanitizing equipment. One of the questions that Tim asked you about was property managers. So we'll encourage you to connect with commercial properties where there's a lot of offices. There's an opportunity to go in there and do those buildings at night, you know, in the evenings, on the weekends. So start to leverage your network and contacts and leverage your church contacts, right? You have a great reputation there. Tap into that. Don't be afraid to get them to share out on social media how awesome you are, and that you can clean office buildings as well as government space. It seems like you very clearly understand what your stages of growth will be and how some doors are going to open up for you 3 years down the road, but start to build that commercial business because some of the work that you're going to do is going to be at different times of day. So judges had lots of great things, lots of excellent feedback, really good feedback. So those comments and suggestions are just meant as kind of icing on the cake of the work that you're already doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And Tim was going to give some feedback to Tiffany.
Sure. Thank you, Joe. So Tiffany, I think, and I can't speak for everybody necessarily, but I think your business model, without a doubt, is very innovative, right? Your desire to affect the senior living community positively, not only from like an industry robustness perspective, but also, given the COVID, current situation and the lack of clarity on what that's going to look like going forward. There's no doubt that where you're headed is a great place. It's a good industry with a lot of upside, right? And there's a lot of good that can be done on top of that. So I think everybody was really excited about that and thought that in general, you're headed in the right direction, and the innovation there is, absolutely apparent. Some of the feedback, I think most plainly, the feedback is that you are, given everything I just said, you are biting off an enormous amount. This is highly regulated. You're dealing with really, really rigid customers with a really long sales cycle. You've got payers to worry about and different reimbursements to worry about. And you've got, typically, not an industry that necessarily naturally focuses on altruism and doing the right thing, right? They're incentivized by their bottom line, and you've got to find a way to navigate that, because obviously they have hearts, but you've still got to find a way to make it make sense for the money. So I think the big feedback is that you're headed in the right direction, but that you've got to, and to a certain extent, you may have done a lot of this, but we think that there's a lot of thinking and analyzing and research that can be done, so that when you really start to push forward, and really, start taking over pieces of the market, you're poised to do so effectively. But we appreciate the pitch. I thought it was great, and I think everybody really enjoyed what you had to say and is looking forward to hearing what you can do in the future.
And Wynn had a little bit of feedback for Kristen.
Yes, Kristen, nice to meet you. And I did enjoy your pitch. You did give a good presentation. I did make some notes regarding your focus and women's empowerment. And I do agree with a few of the other judges that this is definitely something you want to capitalize on. This is the time and season for that. And I would focus more on that specific sector, honestly, versus looking at diversifying for men, only because right now this is the movement. Last year with Governor Hogan declaring that was the year of the woman, right? And all of the feminine energy that's moving forward right now in the corporate environment, it's very key that we help everyone understand the leadership that we do bring to the workplace, how we are strong and we are better together, right? Versus there always just being the male dominant leadership, to really help them understand and explore what women in leadership and how we bring such a great diversification to the leadership mix, and how we definitely need to be included at those tables when leaders and decisions are being made. So I would say on the backside of that, continue focusing on the women in the executive level suite sector. But then even more so, someone mentioned looking at those that are in a disadvantaged background. So I would look at even target audiences, paring down from even just women executives, which could be broad, and then having some subsets of those that are in disadvantaged communities and from backgrounds, and giving them the extra coaching and the extra leadership skill sets that they will need, because a lot of times they will not, that subset is less likely to get the upward mobility that they need. So giving them a little extra love and care, I think, is going to be beneficial to that audience. But you did a great job overall, and keep moving forward to keep our women strong in this workplace. Thank you.
And Candace would like to give a little bit of feedback to Adrian.
Hi, Adrian. I really enjoyed listening to your pitch. I could tell you were radiating with confidence and that you really knew your material when you gave your pitch. Just for future pitches, if you don't mind breaking down the technology piece a little more, just for the non-tech savvy folks like myself, just so I can better understand how you're bringing in that revenue, the services, and the products that you are providing. And lastly, brag about yourself a little bit. And this goes to everyone who was pitching today. I wanted to ask you questions. How did your industry, how does your background, how do your connections, how do they play a role in your business and how you will perform? And I think that was a really big piece that you can add and bring value to your presentation, but it was very well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So I want to draw out the drama just a little bit more. So I'd like to do my thank yous first. I'd like to thank Carlene and the Ratcliffe Foundation for funding this business pitch project. I would like to take all the judges and thank them for their time and their expertise to get us to where we are now. I'd like to thank Brenda and Patricia for the coaching they did in helping our participants prepare their business pitches. They did a great job. I think he's left, but I still like to thank Jason Tiegler for letting us use Pitch Creator. And a special thanks and shout out to Brenda, who really put this whole thing together. She's really done a great job, and I'm really happy that she was able to do it. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna announce each participant and how much money we've awarded them. And after each participant, Tiffany is gonna jump in and explain how the funding decisions were decided. Does that work for you, Tiffany? Okay. Adrian, the judges have decided to award you $8,000.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you, judges. I appreciate that. Very grateful.
And Tiffany
Thank you so much.
Tiffany will give you a little input on that.
So Adrian, congratulations.
Thank you.
As a whole, did think that you did a very great job, as we've expressed, and we definitely see the need for you using that money for more technology development and certifications and licensing and things of that nature. So we are super excited to give you that money.
Thank you. And thank God.
Looking forward to hearing how you're using that money and how it has furthered your business.
Thank you. I can assure you all you won't be disappointed. So thank you for your faith and belief in me. I'm thrilled. And it is about transforming organizations one person at a time. So I'm grateful. Thank you.
So you guys know, after you get this money, I own you for any type of PR, any type of things I want, right?
Yes, we do know that goes along with it. We're
Kristen,
loyal, but we want to give back. So thank you so much, Joe.
I know you do. Kristen, the judges have decided to award you $5,500. And Tiffany will give you a little explanation about it.
All right, Kristen. So I know that you did ask for the $6,000, as you broken down the $4,000 for certification, website development $1,500, and then branding and logo $500 is how you came up with your $6,000. So we definitely agree with you. The certifications would definitely help you market yourself and put more certifications under your belt, right? So we definitely want you to use that money for the certification. We also agree with the importance of your website and e-commerce and being able to accept payments and scheduling and things of that nature, because as the pandemic has happened, we are learning to do more and more things online, and with what you're trying to do, having that face-to-face or that that overhead of having an office and so on and so forth, right? That website development is going to be super important. And so we did decide to give you the 5,500. We said, you know, once you think about and make a little bit money and get the certification, you'll be able to afford that 500 branding and logo on your own, right? So we're giving you a little incentive with that, but we would like to grant you that 5,500.
Thank you so much. I have so much gratitude. Thank you.
Vanessa, the judges have decided to award you $5,000.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate it. Anything that I could be awarded will assist the business. So I am definitely grateful.
So Vanessa, you did break down the 10,000. You had $2,500 for training, $3,800 for equipment, $3,200 for office equipment, and then the $1,000 for marketing. And so the way that we kind of came up with the 5,000 is that, one, the marketing part of it, and I don't know if you're aware, Project Opportunity does have some resources that you can actually use, right, to help further what you're planning to do with marketing. So we want to definitely have you reach out to Project Opportunity to get that counseling to further that part of it. And we definitely agree with you with the $2,500 in training. That would be super important for you to receive that certification, as well as being able to train your employees so they don't have to go through that, right? You can do that on your own. So we definitely see that benefit there, as well as you getting that additional equipment to allow you to clean more efficiently. But with the office equipment, we kind of felt like, you know, given the time and the age and having the employees come in, we definitely want to promote you to be able to think of some more innovative automation, virtual ways to be able to train your employees and not necessarily have to spend that money on equipment that you need to bring into your home. And so we did agree to be able to give you the $5,000. And so again, we're looking forward to see how you're going to use that to further your business.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate it.
And Tiffany, the judges have agreed to award you $1,500.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay, so Tiffany, as Tim said, we all agreed that, you know, you're the most innovative, right? We love what you're doing, but we really feel like, you know, you have to take more time and kind of sift through the direction that you're kind of going. But we do believe in the growth incentives that you did mention. And so we would like to give you that $1,500 to further with those growth incentives with the community. And hopefully you will also take advantage of the counseling that Project Opportunity has to kind of flesh out a little bit more what your ideas and what you're planning to do and moving forward, you know, given that it's a pandemic, right? A lot of that has stopped what it is that you're doing. And we want to have you take a little more time to be able to flesh that out. But we definitely don't want you to stop those growth incentives in the community. So looking forward to hear how that's going to help your business as well.
Thank you. And I have signed up for the next 2 classes. So thank you guys. Yes.
Couple things I just want you guys to know as graduates, we do have business counseling services. We have financial experts. We have marketing experts. We can do a website audit. We can't produce your website, but we can review it and give you recommendations. I know Adrian's taking advantage of some of our services. And I think Vanessa may have a little, but it's free and you earned it, so don't be shy. I will be contacting all of you in the next day or two to discuss the awards and lay out how we're gonna move forward. But I will tell you that I am planning on hand delivering the checks to everybody so that we can get some photos for some photo ops. So once we can get the checks cut, I'll be back in touch with you guys to work out how we can do that. Okay. And Brenda, did you want to close out this evening?
I just want to once again thank the judges for all of your support. We could not do this without you, and your expertise and advice are always appreciated. I want to thank Patricia for being willing to be the first pitch coaches with us and go through the curriculum, and for all of the work that she did with the candidates to help them get their pitches and understand their financials. It's incredibly important. Carlene, as always, you're included in those judges, but also as a personal mentor for me and keeping me going in both the AACC teaching environment and now with Project Opportunity. I always look to you for advice and guidance, and know that you are definitely an expert that I can call on when I need help. So always appreciate your support. Joe, this has been fun. Excited. Now we've got some practice under our belts. We've played with some of the technology, and I think we're ready to do it again.
We're going virtual next year. I mean, we're going live next year, no virtual.
I look forward to that, Joe. Hey, one last thing to our winners today. First of all, phenomenal job, sincerely. And I love following your progress. So I would be grateful if you found me on LinkedIn and just keep me posted. I'm the only Carlene Cassidy on LinkedIn, so I should be easy for you to find. And just, every once in a while, tag me if you've got something exciting going on, or you've got a new client or new licensing agreements or whatever you're doing. I look forward to following your success, and great job. And again, to Brenda, Joe, Patricia, Tiffany, all y'all did great as usual. Project Opportunity always does such a tremendous job with your commitment to veterans. You all know that this is personal for me. For the participants, you don't, but my dad was in the Navy for 36 years. I have two brothers that served in the Navy, and I have a nephew who's about to graduate from the Naval Academy and go into the submarine corps. So my grandfather was in the Army. So I have a life of admiring all of the service members and their spouses. We always joke, my mom was the commanding officer of our family, and she made all the executive decisions. Well, you all are the CEOs of your businesses now, and I look forward to you making command decisions, growing your businesses, creating jobs, and empowering people to continue to have success in their careers.
All right, anybody else want to say anything before we end?
I just want to say thank you. I put my information in the chat, and I welcome to give them ongoing support with whatever they need. Please connect with us.
Well, you guys are great supporters. We appreciate all you do for us.
Thank you. I get to bug Joe all the time, and Winnie all the time, and Tiffany too. So I did, during the breakout session, found all the other judges on LinkedIn. So hopefully we get to get some good advice and strengthen our partnership and relationship with you all. Thank you all ever so much. This is awesome.
I just want to say thank you once again. It was a great opportunity, a great learn for me to understand some aspects of my business that I didn't understand. And I look forward to working more. If any of you all are trying to connect with me, my first name is spelled VENESSA.
Okay. Well, thank you all also for this learning opportunity. Yes. Thank you so much.
Just to echo everyone, thank you. So much gratitude.
All right, I'll be contacting all the participants either tonight or tomorrow or Monday at the latest for some follow-up.